This right back, Charlie, definitely.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Man. Come on. What the hell was all that about, man? I don't know what that was. Technical difficulties, but we're back. People deluded, I'm back again. First things first, big up you lot for tuning in wherever you are in this world. Shout out to you lot if you're on Twitch or YouTube. Please smash the like button. Hope you all had a great weekend. And yeah, it's the best month, which is April. It's my birthday week. Arsenal, please. My birthday's on Sunday. Can we please beat Brentford and put our best foot forward against Real Madrid? It's the game we've been waiting for. And we still got some waiting to do. We got 24 hours to go. But for the vast majority of the last few weeks, every bit of talk has been about the Champions League, whether that's because, you know, our domestic challenges or our chances of trying to win domestic trophies are gone now. Yes, mathematically, if a madness happens to Liverpool, we could do something. And it's a pity that they lost to Fulham. And it don't matter if we can take advantage of that. All that talk's gone in it. All the talk is about Real Madrid. So, yeah, we're going to see what Mikel Arteta has had to say, and pardon me, and all of that good stuff. So, yeah, let's go on. Apparently, he's full of excitement. We should be full of everything. Adrenaline, nerves, scared, tension, everything. And as much as it's a tactical game and we can talk up for many things about Arsenal from a tactical point of view, Real Madrid from a tactical point of view, psychologically, this is a big test. At the Emirates, the atmosphere, it's easy for it should be easy for the players to be up for a game like Real Madrid. This is the realm we wanted to be in. Go back to 2022, 23, not how the season panned out, but going into that. Eventually, we wanted to be a team playing against Bayern Munich, playing against Real Madrid. If you're a footballer, you want to be playing against the best of the best. Real Madrid is footballing's pinnacle. It is the best team in world football. It is the best, you know, it's not the Champions League, it's Real Madrid and co, if I'm honest with you. So you should want to be here. You know, we're going to be full of excitement. The Emirates is going to be great. It's going to be rocking. It's going to be all of that. Obviously, we're skipping well ahead because we haven't played the first leg. Second leg, you go into the Lions Den, which again, you expect to be playing 12 men. And for me, this is where you see the levels. Obviously, Real Madrid have injury issues of their own, but this is genuinely where you see the levels. If you're a winger, you would expect against Real Madrid to play against some of the best defenders in the world. If you have a good game, where does that leave you? Likewise with the defense. Now, I don't know how you lot approach the lineup, people. Do you put Benjamin White centre half with Saliba? Do you put Timber in there? Does Partey go right back? Do you go with a three at the back? Does Tierney play left back? Does Timber move over there for Benjamin White? Do you keep Lewis Skelly, who deserves to be there? Do you put Rice in the 6? Who goes up front? What do you do? And what we all need to remember, even if you go out there with the Timbers, the Whites, the Lewis Skellys and stuff, game management, Carlo as well, but Mikel Arteta, like, even if you don't want Kivior to start centre half, he's going to play some part of the game tomorrow, let alone, you know, moving forward. So we have to see. I need to zoom in because I can't see a damn thing. What is going on here, people? Big up you lot. Make sure you're smashing the like button and all of that good sort of stuff, people. Second live stream of the day. Now, on if everybody is available to following the weekend. Yes, it looks like it. We have another training session this afternoon, but Ben finished the game. We had to stop him over time because he hasn't played much football, but he was fine after the game. And with the rest, they went through the game and they were able to do some bits yesterday and ready to train. Nice to see Benjamin White shaking off some of the rust. Obviously, he's only played 16 games this season. He's been injured and whatnot, people. So yeah, on if he's decided how to replace Gabriel, he said, yes, I've decided. So again, does that mean Declan Rice centre half? Does that mean like for like of a sort of Kivior? Does that mean Saliba moving to the left for Benjamin White? Does Timber go right back? I don't know. Because, you know, the team that starts out there in defense, I don't think they're going to be the team that ends it. On if we need a special effort to get the results. But the fans are going to do their part, and the fans have to do their part in a game like this. The fans are going to make noise. You know, they're paying a whole heap of money for this as well, which, again, you have to make noise. It's the Champions League. It's the days we wanted to be in. In many ways, like Bayern Munich last season, This is kind of the whole premise we were told about moving to the Emirates. So that is going to be a thing. But I do think the Emirates has been rocking on occasion in the big games. But at the same time, it's a two-way street. The fans have got to get the players through it. The players have got to get through it. And what I would say is have no regrets. Of course, Real Madrid are difficult, massive task. But let it be because, you know, Vinicius has done something brilliant that's going to be in the highlights reel, or Modric's banged from 40 yards. You can't really account for individual brilliance. Put in a proper defensive display, put in a proper attacking display, play with no fear, win your individual battles, and the collective takes care of itself. And what I would say either to players like Kivio or the whole team, you should be fearless. What have you got to lose? What can people say about this football club or about these players that they're not good, that they haven't said already? That you lot can't do it in big moments, that you lot choked against Real Madrid, that the manager and the players ain't good enough. If you know that's what's going to be said anyways, don't live or die by opinions. Go out there and give it a count. As long as these players can leave that game with no regrets, thinking I could have done this, I should have done this, I was a bit scared. As long as you can have no regrets, that's all I can ask for. This is a mammoth of a task. Real Madrid are very good. They're as close to invincibles as you possibly can. Obviously, we're the invincibles, but they bleed just like us. And I know people will say they're formed, they're not invincible. They can be got at tactically. You've seen them struggle in La Liga. But then in many ways, if you're struggling in domestic league, European competition could be a welcome distraction. And obviously, Real Madrid, it wouldn't surprise me, God forbid, if we lose and we go out, but we've been the better team, quote unquote. We've seen that. When they've gone out, when they've played, I've seen them play City, Chelsea, Paris Saint-Germain under Pochettino, and many others. It's like when you think the result is going one way, Real Madrid do it another way. When they're at their sparkling best in terms of their ability and their tactics and stuff, it's a problem from minute 0 to 90. But they are our team. They can be crap for 89 minutes. We could be winning 2-0. Somehow the game ends 3-2. So relish it, man. Saliba, boy, I think you're going to play for them one day. Go and show them why they should be admiring you in a good way. Be super convinced. 8 p.m. tomorrow night, 11 players, 60,000 people. Really convinced that we are ready to win and beat them. That's the mindset that I want. The rest, be the team that we've been over the last quarter of the season with the ups and downs and the things we've had to deal with. Continue to do that because that's our super strength. I hear that. I mean, rallying the troops. On Bukayo Saka, he's in a much better place. Gradually, we have built his minutes in the last 6 or 7 days. He scored with that really well, and he's in a good place to be able to be used. Now, I'm no physio. I'm just an armchair expert, but I think many of us expected you'd get 20, 30 minutes against Fulham, which was the case. You'd get 45 minutes to an hour against Everton, which he got 45 minutes plus added on time. Now he's probably going to gamble and start him against Real Madrid. Probably good chance of him starting 2 games this week, people. We know we're not shy to use him at all, man. I'm glad I've got a ticket through the ballot to see Madrid. Plus, it's my birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday, April's baby as well. Hey, big up yourself, man. Plus, it's my birthday tomorrow. Hope we get a good result and the fans and players make it a day to remember. Exactly. And if worse comes to worse, yeah, as much as this sounds a bit loserish, for myself personally, give us a night to remember, man. Bayern Munich at the Emirates, Barcelona at the Emirates, you know, AC and Inter Milan at the San Siro, and there's many a game, people. I'm going to the game tomorrow on my birthday. Luckily, I got a ticket through the ballot. Hope the fans make noise. They will, man. Paying a lot of money. It's the biggest fixture of our season. You have to make noise and make it a noisy atmosphere. But that's the thing. Always, and this is a good test for Mikel Arteta and the players because to a degree, this is Arteta's first time playing Real Madrid. This is our players' first time as a group, whether they've won the champs or not, going over there. To a degree, this is just another game for Real Madrid. So we're gonna have to learn certain things. DJ, I'm going to the game tomorrow. I'm from America and living here for uni. Words can't express how excited I am. Big up yourself, man. Hope uni's going well. And first and foremost, I hope you all have a safe journey there, people. We won't be doing a watch along for that, but I will be live at like 11 p.m. We will be doing a watch along for Wednesday's Champions League fixtures. I need you lot's help. Should I do PSG, Aston Villa, or Barcelona, Dortmund, people? Let me know. But yeah, I hope it's a good game. Big up yourself, and especially for American fans, man, like someone like yourself. Obviously, you're here for uni, but you're not going to get too many opportunities. So do your thing, my guy. Make some noise at the game. To make bare noise, bro. Make bare noise. But again, Real Madrid are built for that. They're built for it. And to a degree, it's not the same, but we're better at coping with that. We don't really get scared of the atmosphere in that. Although saying that, of the 2 games, Bayern Munich twice last season, sorry. I think we got stage fright in Germany. So again, there's year-on-year experience for us to learn. Even though we went through versus Porto and we did it at the Emirates, I think we got a bit of stage fright in Portugal. So I hope that doesn't continue, man. Saka said, I hope we continue to produce talent so we can save some money. Oh, we don't buy superstars, we make him. I know. Let's sign some superstars. Yeah, my masterclass worth watching, DG. Someone pick. If you don't want Barcelona, Dortmund, or if you want PSG, Aston Villa, Emirates Derby, let the people decide. Whichever one of the two you don't want me to do a watch along for, we will keep an eye on the other games. Let me know, man. I'm at you lot service. Hey, how can I assist you? I'm on my Martin Odegaard stuff. I know, probably not the best of example with his current form, but yeah. On if it's the biggest night in management, on if it's his biggest night in management, 1,000,000%. You know, you could say a cup final at Wembley, but it's Real Madrid, isn't it? 100%. It's a joy to prepare the game, to look at them, just to look at the reaction of the people and how we feel about ourselves coming into a game of that magnitude. Smash the like button, people. Please, it helps the channel. The excitement around the club, the people, this is the stage that we want to be, where Arsenal has to be consistently. We are very proud to be there, and now we're very ready tomorrow to deliver. This is proper now, the last stage of the proper team in the competition. I mean, if we do get past Real Madrid, you can't help but dream of reaching the final, winning it. On how to play and not the occasion. As difficult as the players are not idiots. It's Real Madrid, it's Champions League. But you have to play the game, not the occasion. You have to realize what you're stepping into. You have to bring your A game, but you can't think too much of it. At the end of the day, they're human just like us. They bleed just like us. They can concede goals as well. They can obviously score goals. It is what it is, and have no regrets. This is the biggest game for, if you're Lewis Skelly, it's been a great 8 months. Cap for England, dodgy refereeing decisions, playing for your football club. Nwaneri the same. This is what man wanted to be a part of. Obviously, Gabriel Magalhaes ain't playing, but for the manager and the players that were here when we were mad shit, look at what we're having now. This season, as vexed as I am about the Premier League and the domestic competitions, and this being last chance Celine, these are new age problems. Relish it. And what I would say to these players, you need to go out there with the mentality that this is the last time you ever kick a football again. Make sure that's reflected in the performance, man. Creeper, one love, my guys. The man said, we hope everyone's blessed, and smash the like button. I think PSG Villa will be a good game. You lot are not helping me, bro. One man is saying Dortmund, Barca, and next one is saying PSG, Aston Villa. I should do a poll, man, but in fact, I think we got a poll going already, but we'll allow that. I think they're convinced. If I have to convince them, I think we have a problem. Amen. It's the level of conviction, regardless of what happens in any context, that we have to play throughout this time. But they know exactly what they have to do on how not to worry about the opposition by being prepared. There are things that we cannot control, which is what they are going to prepare and what they can do. We have to focus, and our energy has to be on that. Understanding what pushes in our strengths and what pushes in our weaknesses, and the direction that we want to play in the game. On the importance of going to Madrid with a lead in that on aggregate. Very important, but it will just be the first leg, as you mentioned. The intention of the team is very clear. We want to achieve tomorrow, and we're going to go for it. On Martin Odegaard's importance since joining from Real Madrid, I think it's very important for the football club because we recruited a player that fits every quality to deliver performances, the demands that we want, and then the person that is an exceptional representative of the values of this football club. Our history, and obviously people from where we were to where we are, the role that he's played and how much he has contributed to playing where we are at this moment. On if this is one of the biggest matches of his coaching career, unless it's a cup final, undoubtedly. It's one of the most special things. It's a competition we've been waiting for many, many years. The fact that we've only been twice at this stage in 15 years with the size of Arsenal and the difficulty of that, we're going to create our own story and go even further. Tomorrow is a beautiful opportunity for all of us. We all love Jurrien Timber. The gaffer said, incredible. Nobody probably realized the player that we signed until he stepped through the door and started to show every quality that he has on the human side, because he's a leader. He had a very tough start, having a really difficult injury almost a year out. And then the way he's been playing this season is remarkable. He's in a different position with different demands, but he's also so consistent. Hopefully tomorrow will be the best condition to play in the game. On having a special plan for Real Madrid's attack, you just have to win the war. You're going to lose battles. And what I mean by that is Vinicius is going to do nutmegs and scare us. Mbappe is going to scare us on the counter. They're probably going to score. We just have to make sure we make it difficult. Don't bend over backwards. It has to be PSG Villa. Hate watching. Okay, then we're watching that, man. Then we're watching that. Someone finally decided, man. I mean, the 2006 game is something that will come to mind. We went there with a, well, I know we're playing at the Emirates first leg, but we went there with a makeshift defense and things of that ilk. But it is very different, but there is stuff we could learn, and they need to be looked. Any good European night this football club has had, these lot need to be preying, man. Our man said game Wednesday. I big up the Jamaican League, but you're moving mad, Foxy, man. We will watch the highlights. We'll watch the highlights. That's an inspiration for sure, because that generation, what they achieved is what we want to achieve, certainly. It's very different. 20 years is a long time in football, and it was a very different context, but the history is there. Unfortunately, it's too far to be very relevant to the situation that we're in. So the gaffer's basically saying what I'm saying. But there are things to take from there and be inspired by for sure. On whether this fixture holds a special significance for him as a Spaniard, it does mean a lot. It's a club that has set new standards in world football, and that's why they've done it more than anyone else. So that's an inspiration for any manager, any club. This is where we want to be. This is where we want to belong, and these opportunities have to be taken in order to go in that direction. On if we're in a better place since last season's quarterfinal, nope. For me, nope. But let's see what he said. I think we are. I mean, the gaffer's not going to say anything different. Are we really? Fair enough. Building those experiences is something necessary. That's why I said that we have to build our own story. There's a massive gap there for so many years when nothing has happened in this football club in relation to European competitions. It's still not happening. We need to change that, and we need to change that quickly. On if we didn't express ourselves properly in the game against Bayern Munich. I don't think we did away from home. At home, I know there was a little isms and schisms. Probably should have had a penalty. The defending was shoddy. We started well, but I don't think we showed our true selves away from home. So even if we go over to Spain with a 2-goal lead, I'll be like, oh, what's going on there? And it's a like I said, it's a psychological battle. Because if we go to the Bernabeu 2 goals up and we concede within the first 10 and it's rocking 12th man mentality monsters, how do we react? How do we react if Real Madrid take the lead tomorrow? We'll have to see. Especially moments in the second leg, because there were moments in the first leg, especially in the first half, where we absolutely had them. We have to utilize those moments and be ruthless. You have to put the game to bed, and we didn't. And on top of that, we gave them 2 goals and made life much more difficult for us on the return leg in Munich. Facts, if I'm honest. On Madrid's aura, that aura word in today's day and age, they obviously got aura, but like, it's crazy. You don't know why it's gone crazy. That's the history, and they've earned that because of the mindset that they have. So you can't ignore that. That's a fact. I don't want to talk about it because we all know about it. So let's talk about what we have to build and what we have to do. How we can feel inspired by those occasions and look at what we do. And the fact that they haven't been successful all the time because it's impossible. So from 20 times, maybe you win 5. That means you haven't won the rest of the 15. So it's very difficult to do it. We're in a position that we've competed against any team in the last 2 years that we have faced, so we can do it again. On the supporters, I encourage them to come very early to the warm-up and create those nights that we haven't lived many of at the Emirates. So that's an opportunity. And even Arteta, I swear we beat Bayern Munich with Arteta. I could be wrong. We at their place. When we have built history, we have built moments, and a moment is being built with our people. We have to create that energy, that belief, that enthusiasm to play every single action there, because the bonus, the confidence that gives you, there's nothing else we can replicate. That I can tell the players constantly to maintain that throughout the 90 minutes that the game is going to be played. You make me want to run through walls, and there's going to be times the players are going to be nervous, or they're going to be taking a lot of punches, and they're going to have to look around at their teammates. Like, let's just say, I don't know, Kivio's moving shook. Kivio's moving shook. He sees Lewis Skelly being savage. He sees his manager doing all of that. It's going to gas him. The fans are picking you up. It's a psychological battle, and it's going to be a great battle. These are the problems we wanted. Listen, I don't expect to beat Real Madrid, sorry. We better bloody put our best foot forward. Better bloody try. Because if anything, they can match us on ability and all of that. We can match them off the ball. We might not have the quality on it, and we should be hungrier than them. I mean, stamina and motivation is a thing. And Real Madrid, whether it's the club, the players, whatever, they win one champs. Like if it was a Champions League final today and they won it today, they're thinking about the next 2 years. But we should be hungrier than them. We've never did it. Let's be real. Arsenal fans, young and old. Europe has been filled with pain. This season has been filled with pain. Let's try and put that right. Are you going to the game? No, I'm not. We must be focused on Tuesday night. I'm sticking with 2-1 to the Arsenal and goalless in the return. I hope you're right. If we can limit Real Madrid to 1 goal over 180 minutes and we keep a clean sheet at the Bernabeu, fair play. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I hope to God you're right and I'm wrong, my guy, man. Big up Kwame. Good afternoon, Mark, man, and yourself. If it's a top stream, it's because I'm with people like yourself. Can't achieve what we really want unless a huge twist of fate. I look forward to beating Real, then all about transfers and go again. It's true. And I mean, let's be honest, the only way we can have a successful season is if we somehow win the Champions League. You know, the football has stagnated. You know, we've for large periods, we never had a sporting director. We got that. We've made a lot of issues and consequences off the field in terms of the recruitment in the last 2 windows. There's been a lot of things that have gone against us. We haven't controlled the controllables. We've stagnated. It's not been a nice seat. The injuries galore. It's a case of coulda, woulda, shoulda, and another missed opportunity, and seeing Liverpool celebrate based on the past 2 years of City. This is the only way. I'll always say we should have won the FA Cup. I still think we should be in that competition. Credit to Newcastle. But kind of the 2 legs against Newcastle are the best example, if I'm honest with you. I don't think we gave it our best in the 2 legs, definitely away from home. And then this is what's getting to me. And if you throw the League Cup and the FA Cup into it, when it's crunch time, where it's win or lose, let's see what's happening. And even some people are very critical on David Raya's saving in the FA Cup against Man United, his penalty against Everton. Bearing in mind this man saved us against Porto, was it? We'll have to see, man. But again, this is why I've got a tiny bit more confidence, because it's one thing talking about mistakes. Mistakes happen. People lose balls. Things happen. When I've seen Raya make a mistake, he stood up tall. When I've seen Gabriel Magalhaes, which, fuck's sake, that's the one you know what? No one injured, but Gabriel because you're a leader, man. You probably save us via set pieces. And again, it goes back to the market, man. Like, this is very different to Bayern Munich because the man weren't injured. People in a good run of form. Yes, Saka looks sharp and the young G's are doing what they're doing. But I feel there's too many unanswered questions. I'm going to be real. So for me, it's not really blind optimism. And I don't think you can accuse me of blind optimism. I'm the sort of person, I think about all the negatives and that's all prevalent. But end of the day, fuck it now, innit? Like, let's just go for it. Like, go for it. Don't get too excited. Don't go out there and, first step. Because if you're Real Madrid, you know what you're stepping into. Arsenal are, they just popped their cherry in the champs. They're going to be excited. Their season's a joke. They want to go and prove it. First 10 minutes, the fans are going to be making noise. They probably expect us to come out there firing, doing our thing. But if it goes left, make sure you can react. We're going against a super, super colossal giant in Real Madrid. They've got chinks in their armor. Let's make sure we can exploit that, man. It was more than an embarrassment in our 2 legs of this Carling Cup semi-final against Newcastle weren't good enough. I didn't think I could be angry about the game at the Emirates, but the game at Newcastle is where I'm like, oh, what's going on there, man? Madness, bro. And the thing is, it's not even a shame because Newcastle, great run of form, ended their trophy chart, is at all these big club atmosphere. Obviously, I didn't want to lose 4-0 on aggregate, but I could hold that. Not that I'm happy, but I could hold that. For me, you have to give Newcastle praise, but I'm all on controlling the controllables. If it was we had a performance that Newcastle are going to the final over our dead body, fair enough. We weren't the best men on the pitch, which credit to Newcastle, they won regardless, but there's too many unanswered questions. Do I think the defense gave a battle? Do I think the strikers gave it a battle? Did I think the manager held his bottle? Do I think we made it difficult? No. And if it's one thing doing at the Emirates, you got to do it at their place. And you keep seeing me saying various competitions, it's the away games. Slightly, even when you break down our season this year, there's obviously been good performances away from home and poor performances at home. But when you break it down in the last 2 years, we have got better away from home, more so domestically. But that's kind of where the F-ups come. Bournemouth. Again, there's contexts and all of that. Bournemouth. Twice now against Newcastle in both comps. Forget the Emirates for a sec. Bayern Munich last season, Porto last season. And I'm not saying this to be critical. This is just me seeing if we're going to learn. These boys have 1 year of experience. You look at Real Madrid, Carlos won bare Champions League. I'm sure he won it as a player, definitely before my time. Rudiger's been in certain scenarios for club and country. You add in what he's done at Real Madrid, the Alabas and all of that. And it's one thing, Mbappe, all of these guys, it's one thing talking about them. It's the next thing talking about them together. It's another game for them. This is the first time we are playing Real Madrid as a collective group. This is the first time Arteta is going to be in this context. And similar to what they said last season about, it's a rugby Bayern Munich, they're saying that against Real Madrid. And I said it last year and I'm going to say it again. I don't care what Bayern were to what they are last season. I don't care what people say about Real Madrid this year versus that. It's still that. That should give you some optimism, but go out there and make it difficult, man. Go out there and make it difficult. It's as simple as that. And bro, it's a serious football club. We don't even need to know about Real Madrid. 15 titles. We just want 15 European titles. Real Madrid, bro, it's Real Madrid, isn't it? The Bernabeu's the Bernabeu. They're the current holders. We know what Carlo brings to the table. We know what their squad is littered with talent. There is a 1-2 isms and schisms about who's going to be there and whatnot. But it's the bench boys. Ceballos, we know about him. They got Ceballos, they got Diaz, they got Vasquez. Everybody gets it. Even that Asensio centre-back, been in there 2 minutes. We have to know, you have to know your enemy, you know. So let's go, man. Just have a goal, man. Because again, more than anything, when it's crunch time, we've bottled it. Go out there and try your best. That's all I ask for, you know. Don't behave like pussycats. And we know about their quality, but I'm just like, imagine having this team, man. Imagine this. We take it well, especially with our centre half issues. We'll take Asensio. Oh, I'd have you. Not quite you, Mendy. I'd have you. Good player though. I'd have you. I know you're about 50 Modric, but I'd have you. And they're doing what they're doing, man. Pardon me. After they attempt to win successive La Liga titles for the first time since 08, Real currently sit in second spot behind Barcelona, but are still on the hunt for first ever treble. So they're trying to achieve mad things. And you know what's mad? There's question marks over Carlo Ancelotti. Is he going to go and manage Brazil? Is he going to get sacked? Are they going to bring Xabi Alonso in? When they're on course to win everything available. Against Valencia, they weren't the best. I'm sure I've seen Lagane's bag against them. Obviously, you're going to raise your performances, going back to what I said psychologically, but you get where I'm going, man. They're in the Copa del Rey final, as they look to gain revenge after losing the Super Copa de Español to Barcelona in January. So yeah, they lost the final, but they got to a final. 2 pieces of silverware have already been claimed. The UEFA Super Cup against Atalanta before they lifted the inaugural edition of the FIFA Intercontinental Cup by beating Mexico's side Puencha 3-0. What the fuck is that? Like, all right, cool. Like, oh, come. Big up the Super Cup and big up this one, but yeah, who cares, man? Mbappe has netted 17 times in his last 10 outings to take his tally in all white to 33. Remember, they said he would struggle there. And this highlight of the season was him getting a hat-trick against City. Our striker got a hat-trick against City. Who, you might say? Viktor Gyokeres. Talking into existence. We've only ever faced Real twice before in a competitive action, which was during our run in 05-06, where we got to the final. I mean, they've got Mbappe. Mbappe, come play for Arsenal, man. Come on, man. They've got Luka Modric. We've got Mikel Merino and all the Spanish shoots. Mikel Arteta, David Raya. Make something happen for me in that game, man. One of Henry's greatest ever solo goals saw us being the first English team to triumph in the Bernabeu before we held a Madrid side boasting Zidane, Ronaldo, David Beckham, Roberto Carlos, and Raul to a goalless draw at Highbury to advance. I mean, it's not the same context, but in terms of that, in terms of how we went through in 05-06, you'd want us to do that, innit? Like, just get the beers out. Let's have a goal, man. Let's have a goal, man. Let's have a goal. Pachucha, yeah, I can't say that, man. Big up them. Big up Solomon Rondon. Oh, so Real Madrid have the same amount of trebles as us, yeah? Say no more, yeah. Look at me chatting everything to make us feel less inferior. Our striker, have some shame, DG. You know how we roll. I hear it, man. I hear it. What's up, DG Nation? Make sure to big up the likes in it. Come on, man. We still have a very good team. Have faith and support the guys. Never know what can happen. Respectfully, I don't think I haven't said anything not of that nature, but we can't. I'm not saying you're saying this, but you can't get into this trap of just saying positive, blind buzzwords. That sounds good. Me, I know damn well of the threat of Real Madrid. I know about what we can do positively. I know about the negatives. Go out there and have a go. My thing is just have a go. Just have a go, bro. That pretty girl, yeah. She might look like she's out of your league and stuff, but you don't know until you try. She might like your humor. She might think you're good looking. She might think she's tired of the other guy. Oh, have a chance, bro. Have a chance. You got to be in it to win it, man. And again, such as Arsenal, some would say it's our luck. We get past Real Madrid to effort against Aston Villa. But if we did come through these 2 legs, you can't help. You can't get excited. You have to keep your feet on the ground. But it's like, ooh. That's how I'd feel about Real Madrid. Like, we might just win the champs, We might just do this. It might happen. But that's what I want the conversations to be. But we have to go out there and do it, man. Let's stay on. You lot are making me feel it's a passion merchant thing tomorrow, man. There's nothing else. Get the beers going. Get the rear neff going. Let's just have a goal, man. Anyways, away from that, though, man. Keep your thoughts coming, of course. Bukayo Saka says he wants to win things at Arsenal ahead of talks with the club over a new contract. Saka has 2 years left on his current deal, but Arsenal want to secure his long-term future. Speaking ahead of Tuesday's Champions League showdown with Real Madrid at the Emirates, Saka was asked if he could reassure fans about his future. I want to win things wearing this badge. It's pretty clear the fans know how much I love them. You saw when I came on Tuesday, they loved me back. Careful with that, though. Love don't last forever. So it's a good relationship. I am really happy to hear. And I'm focused on winning. And being at the game against Fulham, it was pantomime. As I said, it's sad, but some man will score for this football club and they will not get allowed a roar or reaction from the fans as much as Saka's name when it was read out before the game, when he was warming up on the side, when he came on and then he scored. And then I saw him in like the mix zone after. And he's the president, man. Like he's there with his little posse, all his friends, babes and that. Black David Beckham settings. But tomorrow, Black Iron Robin. Just, brother, I'm not going to lie. Saka, brother, left foot, hit it. Even if you're about hit it. Lewis Kelly, movies. Hey, them boys, just movies. Thomas Partey, declaration. There's a movie for someone to live. Live a movie. I wish Gabriel Magalhaes was here, man. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. It's pretty, yeah. So yeah, big up the love. I don't think anyone is really in a rush. I've got 2 years left on my contract, so it's pretty relaxed. It's relaxed for you because you're gonna get the paper, and I believe you, Saka. You love the fans. We love you. You want to win stuff. I do hear other players say this. So let's not be too relaxed. Let's get me signed the deal. Berta, blank check. Him, Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, deals, please. And God, please, no hamstring injuries. If give me this hamstring injuries, man. I don't use them. I'm just waffling on YouTube. We need Bukayo Saka, man. What a star boy, man. So I'm in a rush, Saka, man. I believe you. I know you're a God-fearing man, so don't lie to me. I believe you, but new deals are required. Everyone knows my thoughts, and I've let you guys know as well. So I don't think there's much else really. Big him up, man. And he said it just reassured everything. It was special. You had to be in the stadium to feel the noise and the energy they brought that night for me. I am really grateful. Like I said, I just want to win here, and that is my focus. I must admit, I've seen my team win trophies. I've obviously been out at Wembley. I've been privy to some big games at the Emirates. Actually, like the year we got back in the Champions League was quite good, but mainly not necessarily because of the fact that we beat Fulham and all of that kind of stuff, and definitely not for Magalhaes' injury. But in relation to the Saka stuff, one of my finest moments at the Emirates, you know, like I'm so happy that I was actually there to see that. Like it was big up Saka. I'd say the darkest moment at the Emirates, the Granit Xhaka thing. I just remember looking around the stadium. I just thinking, what's happened to my beautiful club? We're a pantomime now. Like you know, I don't know how to explain it, but you know when something's going around you, yeah, like you're seeing fans, obviously, whatever Xhaka's doing, whatever the game's going on, the scoreline is whatever. You know when it's like, it feels, you know, like in the movies where everything kind of freezes around everyone, and it's like the main character. I felt a bit like that. I was just like, bro, we are falling off. You know, I keep saying this. We became a pantomime. Like that was. We've been through a lot. The Ballon d'Or is a dream, but my focus is on winning titles at Arsenal. I'm just working hard to do the best for my team. Any individual awards that come, I'll accept them. Come on, Bukayo, man. On producing superstars. This is Arsenal. It's what we do. We've done it in the past. I hope we can continue to keep doing it so we can save some more money. Don't give the club any ideas, blood, please. On Wanyeri and obviously Lewis Skelly, I always make myself available to them. I'm so proud to see the steps that they are making. I mean, Saka is 23, 24. These men are 18, but it's almost like he's 70 years of age compared to them. Such is life. Arsenal lack of firepower will be exposed by Real Madrid in the Champions League quarterfinal. Hurt me. Arsenal have one last chance to win silverware this season as their Premier League ambitions slowly disappear down another sinkhole. Slowly, they're gone, bro. But the reason they have not enjoyed any domestic success is the same one which will stop them winning the champs. It's getting rather boring now, but the Gunners really need a high-class goal scorer, someone who will at least feature among the most prolific in the English top flight. There are 16 marksmen who have scored 10 or more Premier League goals this term. And I'm not going to read them out, but again, considering everything you said we say about Martinelli and Trossard and the injuries and all of that stuff, they both got 5-6 goals. Marino's been playing up front 2 minutes. And yeah, he was scoring goals before the injury thing was the issue, but he's got 5-6 goals. Kai Havertz was probably our second top goal scorer before his injury. Saka the same. Yeah, you could. I said it last season. You can talk about set pieces and sharing goals around, and we need to keep that. All of them guys, I said, if they stay or just those that amount of bodies, they all need to chip in. But we know we needed a striker, and we knew we needed an upgrade on the left-hand side. So it's the same old issues, man. Their last 10 goals in all comps have been scored by 9 different players, but that includes the 7-1 home romp at PSV in the Champions League. And they won't find Real Madrid as generous when they breeze into London for the first leg of the quarterfinal showdown with Arteta's men. Real Madrid was shocked 2-1 at home to Valencia on Saturday and are 4 points behind bitter rivals Barcelona as La Liga draws to a close, but they are going too strong for the Gunners. They're going to be going too strong for the Gunners and can return to the Spanish capital with a first leg lead, especially as the home defense has been weakened by the loss of Gabriel Magalhaes, the defending champion, blah, blah, blah. But it is what it is, man. Like, we're gonna have to stand up to be counted, man. I don't want to go and harp on about stuff, but a former referee said Lewis Skelly's foul was outside the area. You're telling us it starts outside the area. One guy's they're both pulling each other. Harrison couldn't even believe it. I do think Arsenal fans are the men and women who cry wolf all the time. There's clearly one rule for my football club and others. I do think regardless of when refs have done us dirty, there's been other things that we could have done in the game. And I believe that's the talking. Am I saying it's right? The reality is we have to make control the controllables. I'm not saying it's right, but the refs, yes, they don't do this. We win 1-0. But there's also been times, half the time, where refs has done us dirty that we've needed to do more to get that result. And we have to. We have to have the Sunday League approach. Anyone that's played Sunday League, you're told to assume the refs are shit. I'm not saying it's right, but what do we do? Do we cry and hope for change and know and do the kumbaya thing? Or do we can control what we can control? I don't know, people. But yeah, man, it's making me mad even looking at that. Apparently, Arsenal are working on a dream scenario of securing Viktor Gyokeres and Nico Williams in a blockbuster 200 million summer spending spree. I believe when I see it. The Gunners' number one priority is bringing in a top-level central midfielder, and they are confident of landing Real Sociedad star Martin Zubamendi for around 50 million. And it's the same names, Gyokeres, Nico Williams, Zubamendi. To be fair, those are three signings that improve immediately our starting 11, and we also need depth. Now, new sporting director Andrea Berta is doing the sums to see if they can also afford an elite centre forward and a game-changing winger. Berta knows he'll have to generate significant income by selling players in order to raise the cash to prize Gyokeres from Sporting and Williams from Bilbao. The Gunners Chiefs are determined to do all they can to give boss Mikel Arteta the superstar signings he needs to win the Premier League. We heard this last year. I will lose my top if we lose to Real Madrid and I start seeing the Athletic come out with articles about we need players with X factor and all of this, because everything that I hope we do in the summer, we should have done last summer, in which, all right, time's gone, make sure it happens, innit? You keep it moving. We know Jorginho and Partey are set to leave, so there's a lot of question marks in midfield. In fact, there's more questions than answers. I don't want to be reactionary, but being devil's advocate, if and when is Odegaard going to get back to his stuff? If Declan Rice stays in this 8, what does that mean? Should he play as a 6 or an 8? You know, Partey's gone and Jorginho's gone on paper. You bring in Zubamendi. Can he do the business? Do we have enough there? And I've spoken about the striker in it. Let's be honest. You could move on from some, but I believe Trossard, Martinelli, Kai, you lot can be squad players. We need 2 signings to upgrade that front three. Saka is Saka. Waneri's come to the fore as well in the squad, doing his thing. We've got the bad boy right winger. Need a serious number 9. Need a serious left winger. And things can take care of itself. And there's a lot Mikel Arteta has to do on a coaching front as well, because you need to find ways. You need to find a plan B. You need to find a way of overcoming these low blocks, because that's what you've earned now, Arteta. Rightly or wrongly, we're known for a distinctive brand of football and how we play. You don't have to like it. And I clearly don't think it's entertaining, but we're known. Maybe it's cliche. All of these players that have played against Arsenal, all they do is waffle about how the structure is and how intense it is and all of those things. We've earned that right. And what I mean by that is now everyone's doing low blocks, rightly or wrongly. And if you win and beat us, that's your business. Moyes did it. Sean Dyche did it. Eddie Howe is not going to change the way he plays against us until we actually get over the line. Graham Potter did it. Then there's plenty. Amarin did it, and it got in some change. So we need to find ways of getting about that. And that isn't something we learned this year. We knew about that last year. Arsenal also need a second choice goalkeeper when on loan Neto returns to Bournemouth. A prolific striker is seen as a key target, with a new winger more of a luxury. I think we've got past the point of luxury, brother. I can't lie to you. It's not a luxury. A left winger is not a luxury. I understand you have to mix and blend and pivot. That's a necessity. A striker is a necessity. A left winger is a necessity. A centre mid is a necessity. I actually think we need a left back, but you could say that's a luxury. You need a necessity is a second choice goalie. A third choice goalie might be a necessity. I mean, a luxury. I actually think if you do all of this, I'm not against someone to compete with Martin Odegaard. I know Waneri can play there. Napan, he looks good, but he's young, and that could be seen as a luxury. These are not luxuries, bro. How can it be a luxury if we've needed to improve this in the last 2 years? We're talking about wingers and strikers in the summer. What are we talking about? Who wrote this article? Because I was with you until you said that. Where's your name? They're boying you. Dan King, I don't know about luxury, brother. I don't. I do hope Martinelli kicks in form, because he did well against Fulham, little decent touches against Everton and whatnot. Maybe I'll rework what I'm saying, people. But the Emirates Chiefs would love both, which is great news to me. And you should be able to. I'm not saying you can get Nico Williams and Isaac or Nico Williams and Gyokeres, but you should be able to get someone, maybe a kind of Savio. Doku's not the best example, but Doku, Savio, kind of someone with a bit of potential that can help us. We can craft them. Of course, I want guys, game changers. But you telling me you can't find a little winger, little icy free winger that can do some tricks and can listen to what Arteta wants? I don't know. We really can't upgrade or find another alternative option to Trossard or Martinelli. Fair enough. I can't tell you names, but yeah. Their chances depend in part on whether Sporting and Bilbao hold out for release clauses of Gyokeres and Williams, believed to be 83.6 million, 49 million respectively. Now, where you look at Zubamendi, Garcia, Gyokeres, Williams, We're not the only ones going for these players. So you have to be able to you need to have a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. And I don't want to put too much faith in Berta. It's hard not to. Your CV at Sporting. We need a bit of optimism because we're tired of the regime. But he's like, bro, you're gonna have to pivot, bro. You're gonna have to pivot, man. 129, 34 likes, dodgy behavior. Karma, big up yourself, man. Mod of the year contender. What about Eze? Bring him. Don't you see signing any of these players? Too many reports from in the nose with very little proof. The real signings happen when you don't expect it. We were linked non-stop with Gurhey, Madison, and nothing. Amen. This is why I always say, Foxy, and you're here. I'm more than happy to speak about these things. But until man are holding Arsenal shirts, doing all those kind of things, it doesn't really go far. And Madison zanged himself because I remember Madison linked with Spurs and obviously Newcastle. I'm sure you reckon Spurs you'd achieve your ambitions and whatnot, and there's probably the London factor as well. But I wonder if he reckons he went Newcastle, because you look at where Newcastle are at on the pitch and all the other aspects, let alone the ownership, and they've won a trophy. And look what's going on at Spurs. In fact, they have won a trophy because they didn't. You remember the dart that he won the dart celebration? I told you, Saka. Remember when Postecoglou walked in and I was seeing articles by all of these people about he's the new Arsene Wenger. They won the league in September. So you could say the move was backed up. But yeah, everybody wants these guys. You know, Nico Williams, everyone's linked. Being linked and obviously talking is another thing. Bearing in mind, we have also heard reports technically that Berta's held talks with the agents of both these players in Gyokeres and Williams. If negotiations prove difficult, Arsenal could choose to pursue cheaper strikers such as RB Leipzig, Sesko, or Eintracht Frankfurt's Hugo Ekitike in order to free up Williams. Alternatively, the club could go all in on a proven goal scorer, Alexander Isak, valued by Newcastle at more than 100 million. That old chestnut. And there's a lot of whispers, man. We're going to get Gyokeres. Saudi are looking at him. Nico Williams, a new contract. Bilbao want the release clause paid up front, which obviously has ramifications. That's where Berta's got to earn his money, because we hear Bilbao's president is a tough negotiator, as you should. You're meant to be a tough negotiator, and you should know him. I don't know if Atletico and Bilbao have done business, but football's a small world. All the man there work together, so it is what it is, man. I mean, I'm having Gyokeres, bro. Like, I understand the concerns, but I'm on this to sign the striker first, and whether it's, I would love Isak, but it, you know, we're not going to get him. But Isak, Gyokeres, Hugo Ekitike, Sesko, bring the striker in, and we consider the positives and the negatives later. We need a striker. I don't want it to be one where we sit on our hands. If Arsenal agreed to pay that sort of fee, they would pass on a wide man Williams, whose wage demands may be an issue. So as long as you pivot, you know. But former Atletico Madrid chief Berta is thought to be a fan, or a big fan, better yet, of Gyokeres, and was reported to have met Williams' agent, Felix Tenta, just a few days after officially taking up his new role. Arsenal do have to keep an eye on profit and sustainability rules. They made losses of 52.1 million in 2022-23 and 17.7 million in 23-24, despite their highest ever revenue of 616.6 million, thanks to a Champions League return. The departure of Jorginho, Partey and Tini will free up money in the wage budget. Yet Arsenal also need to find generous buyers for the likes of Zinchenko and Trossard. Jesus and Tomiyasu would have been off, but long-term injuries scuppered them. I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. We could do a lot worse. We could do a lot better. Arsenal are planning to sign 3 players for Mikel Arteta this summer, but no, they'll need to be creative, as they do not plan to spend hundreds of millions in the transfer market. Arteta, you drew yourself out and said, be excited. You said we're going to add quality and we're going to improve depth. I'm not here. I'm Berta, you, Cronkies, anyone that works with you lot, don't care who it is. If you do what needs to be done, you get praise. If you don't, question marks. And you're going to have to live or die by it. Like, I feel sorry for the club indirectly, but realistically, I only feel sorry for the players and the fans where it comes to not doing what we needed to do in January and the summer. I'm sure Arteta and the people involved, they're not idiots. Clearly, they tried to do something, but you didn't do anything. So you know, if you don't do certain things in the summer, the sort of script that to follow, and you also know the same in Jan. Some of you have been here and breathed it at Arsenal. Some of you have learned from other clubs, other clubs. Some of you have seen it elsewhere. So is it incompetence or naivety or both? I don't know, people. Just make sure, whether it's the top level talent, whatever, man. You can't tell me that, bro. The players that we, based on how the last few windows have been, the players that we signed, they better be the next Ronaldinho and things, because we keep hearing there's no players on the market, unique opportunity. And I hear that. I don't want to sign players for no reason. But really, how much we're going to keep being peddled that out? A key reason for how we get better is to add some quality. I'm a big fan of our players. But who really could you see, like, who really does the business at the upper level? And even the players that pull their weight a lot more, they need support. And actually, Saka can't do it every week. This one can't do it every week. They're going to have off days. Because what if, Saka has an off day, Magalhaes has an off day, Raya's having a shaky one. Other men need to step up. I'm all for finding stars of tomorrow and future-proofing, but we also need to find that balance of getting players that are for this thing right now. They're helping us right now. Not how good they're going to be tomorrow, right now. Man said, DG asking for new players, asking to sign new players. That's a luxury. Big up Rashid, man. These are ready-made players. We are talking about, apart from Rice, we haven't bought a top talent for 6 years and 750 million spent. They can't run. There's no players to sign nonsense. These men signed Marino. He looks more useful up front than in midfield. I woke up this morning with new hope, only to go into my office and see a Madrid scarf on my desk. Mind games. Mind games from your colleagues. Jonathan David on a free incoming deadline day. Nonsense, ladder. We need 3 centre forwards and we have 0. Also, Arteta wants Sesko. Now that's a ×2 sackable offence. City has Haaland, Marmoush, Man. You have Zertsky, Højlund. We need 2 strikers. 1 ready, Gyokeres, 1 potential, Sesko. Sell Jesus, even Havertz. Then a creative 10. We're not getting Verts. Jesus ain't going nowhere with his ACL. Havertz is on 265 grand. And you probably need him to be part of the squad. If we could take the hit, I wouldn't be against it, man. But DG, big up DG. Forget Berta. Do you think these players we are linked with are Arteta kind of players? His history of signing says otherwise, but we never know. They're gonna have to find that balance. They're gonna have to. They're going to have to find that balance. Maybe Berta wants Gyokeres. This one wants Sesko. They're gonna have to find that balance. You look, just make sure you run me my players. That's what I want to see. That's all I want to see. We know he's inactive in the summer. We know about the injuries, etc. We know about Berta because he's been pictured at the games now and whatnot. He's been at Everton and Fulham. We all know about what he done at Atletico Madrid. Spanish football expert Guillem Balaguer has described Berta as a top negotiator and claims he is planning to bring 3 key players to the Emirates this summer. You have to say that he was the architect of Atletico Madrid that won the league twice. Well, he did his job, so Simeone could do his job and anyone else around. Got to the Champions League final twice, won the Europa League, said on TNT Sports. That's him working, and he did butt heads with Simeone. I want to hear that as well. That's him working alongside Simeone in a very discreet way. He doesn't give interviews, doesn't give press conferences. I'm on that, man. He just, what is with Berta? He just looks like them guys like Thomas Shelby and them make like Ghost and Patrick and that. He's a man of few words, but you get on his wrong side. If he makes a phone call, you might be on a missing poster. And he looks like he means business. But again, I am excited about him. But I need to let you do your thing first. And I'm very wary about just relying on one man. Because how much can you really change what's going on at the football club? And we all know about how we're trying to operate, man. And there's a lot of unanswered questions for a variety of reasons with a number of players on our books. And it's a big summer. And how much can be done in a matter of months, I don't know. But significant business needs to be done. I need to be feeling stronger about the squad. I need to be gassing about Saliba, Rice, Saka, this one, that one, and Nico Williams and Gyokeres are doing this and whatnot. Again, that wouldn't guarantee anything, but I personally can only speak for myself. If the club did what they needed to do in the summer and the season played out the same way, it's focusing people on injuries, I'd say fair enough. Obviously, we review how these injuries happen, but I would say, you put your best foot forward. You tried. We knew our squad was weak anyways. We were saying it in the summer. If you're not caring enough, go back to the start of my videos in the summer. We was all saying, even with everyone fit, the squad's tiny, bro. Anyways, we don't know personally much about him, but certainly he's a top negotiator and considered one of the best in the business. So respectfully, Guillem, if you don't know much about him, then we're just waffling and recycling the same things. They went for him because he wants to create, alongside Mikel Arteta, winning culture. This is a guy that has done very well in the context of Real Madrid and Barcelona, which is also encouraging. They have more money, and yet he managed to get that extra bit that Arsenal doesn't seem to get. So he's been described to me by one of the decision makers, one of the ones that decided to bring him in, that he's experienced, he's a hard worker, he's very brave. But basically, he's going to have to be creative as well. Arsenal are not here with the intention of spending 200 or 300 million. They just want to be creative with what they have got and what they can bring in. And again, we know Arteta said be very excited. Balaguer believes we'll launch moves for Zubamendi, Nico Williams, and one of Sesko or Gyokeres. Apparently, we've already held talks with Zubamendi and are confident of securing him. We've been linked with Williams and Gyokeres. It's the same old in that regard. Pardon me, with the restrictions of FFP, both in Europe, which is more restricted than the Premier League, they're going to have to think of 5 replacements for players that are either leaving or finishing their contract. And they're going to have to create 3 or 4 players that go straight into the lineup. I would say a left winger, centre midfielder, and centre forward and holding midfielder. We heard the names Zubimendi, Gyokeres, perhaps certainly Benjamin Sesko or Williams. Those are the names they will try to get. But they don't have huge amounts of money they can use. So they're going to have to sell as well, in which that's probably a reason as to why Berta has been brought in as well, because it did look like we're moving in that direction last summer. Eddie Nketiah, Ramsdale, Smith Rowe will show you to that. And that's cool. I expect us to spend about 200 million, but that's cool. If you can't get these targets, just make sure you bring in good players. Of course, I want household names, but at the end of the day, I just want a winger that can score goals and take people on. I want a striker that can score goals, and I want a centre mid. I'm exaggerating, but if you can get a household name for 100 odd million, or you can get someone that we don't know for 10, that's cool. Just make sure they're good players, really and truly. Is what it is in that regards. Because whether we've gone for top targets or top players or not, we haven't always in the last few years where we have to look at fine margins. We ain't spent money in the best possible way. Mikel Arteta said it's the biggest transfer window for a long while, and having Berta next to him as a partnership with him will definitely help. Keyword partnership, because that was used several times when Berta was announced. Discussing the club's transfer plans for the summer recently, Arteta said it's going to be a big one and we're very excited about it. When you are going to go again, we want to increase the depth of the squad and the quality and skills that we need to go to the next step. That's encouraging to me in theory, because you're telling me you see what I see. Every summer is big because it is an opportunity. Last summer, was it that big? Did you take the opportunity? Especially because of the number of players we have in the squad right now, that is necessary. But it's a big summer for many things, because first of all, we have to maintain the good foundations that we have, and then obviously how we can improve and evolve the team. I hope these words ring true. Sporting manager Rui Boij, forgive me, poor pronunciation, hints at Viktor Gyokeres' exit as striker agrees Arsenal move. Portuguese giants do not expect to keep hold of their star striker. Sporting head coach has suggested Arsenal target Viktor Gyokeres will be on the move in the near future. Amid reports the striker's already agreed to join the Gunners this summer. He's been linked with the move to the Emirates Stadium last summer due to his stunning form in Portugal. He got 59 goals in 59 league games to date. Arsenal, as you know, are in need of a number 9. Gyokeres is said to be top of Andrea Berta's wish list. Reports in Portugal over the weekend claimed the striker had given the thumbs up to a potential summer switch. The 26-year-old was last week again on target as Sporting beat Real Ave in the Cup, scoring his 8th goal in 5 games, and Boris was almost at a loss for words to describe his player's talents. Gyokeres is a player, I think there are no words. It is unlikely that another player of his quality will emerge in our league over the next few years. He is clearly above average. Sporting recognized this talent, and here we are. Fortunately, we have him at Sporting. We must make the most of the time we have with him because he is exceptional. I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it. He brings a lot to the game, and his teammates are aware of what he contributes, which is why they're looking for him during games. I mean, I love to look for you during games as well. The collective effort also plays a role, as no one can succeed alone. Gyokeres is a game changer. He'll continue to be, whether with us or elsewhere. His quality is undeniable. It is phenomenal. He's the best in the league. There are no adjectives to describe Viktor. He is an extraordinary striker, very important to our team. He has helped the team to grow with confidence, quality of play. He passes it on to his teammates. He's a focused player who pays attention to the details. Arteta would like that. He is competitive, never lets his guard down, and doesn't want to rest. Maybe today he could rest. It's a young team that he, as an athlete and player and teammate, instills confidence in his teammates with what he gives to the team. I also want to draw you lot to this, because a lot of people are not convinced on Gyokeres, and you don't have to be convinced. I know football, social media, you're not allowed to change your mind. You're not allowed to have any concerns. You're allowed to do that here because there are concerns. Naturally, can you do it in the top division? I do think there's no balance with Gyokeres, man. Look at him like he's the best thing since sliced bread, or people think he's shit and they start doing the nerd thing, talking about stats and that. I think he'll be good here. While it's true that Gyokeres is a player who is performing above average, he's also a player who has physical problems. His age combined with these issues could cause some doubt at clubs. That was by a football agent, Guilherme von Cooper. There's concerns everywhere. People always talk about the transitions. Arsenal need to move the ball quicker anyways. Arteta needs to evolve us in an attacking sense. There's a discount that has to be applied to us anyways. We all know you're not going to get as much penalties as you got. There's the low blocks, which not just it shouldn't be just on Gyökeres, it's the whole team. There's this assumption that Arteta is not going to evolve his tactics or change his tactics and tailor it not just for our attackers but also Gyökeres. And I mean, he's shown it in the Championship and in Portugal that he could do all right. I don't understand why people are like, oh, there's no counter attacks and that. And also, if Kai Havertz, if Kai Havertz has found a way to score goals for the last 2 years, if Marino has found a way to score goals, I don't think the return's great enough. But for all of Martinelli and Trossard's struggles, they've still found a way to score goals. Saka is bagging for fun. Wanyeri just come off a little hot shot. We really think a 26-year-old turning 27 that's had good and bad periods in his career can't do a thing? I don't know, people. I'm not saying there isn't concerns, but I'm not really sure why it's to this grave extent. But yeah, man, it is what it is in that regard. So we've gone over that. Big up Gyökeres. And again, in terms of the injuries, I think it's everything. I think Arteta's ran his players to the ground, but then also players haven't saved themselves. And I'm not going to read this, but you could see it with Gabriel Magalhaes when Gabriel Magalhaes was arguing with Mikel Arteta about not wanting to be resting. I do think Arteta's ran the players into the ground. I think the consequences of what we haven't done in the transfer market means we're over-reliant on these players, and the hamstring injuries reflects that. And then obviously injuries happen anyways. We've ran Ben White into the ground, Saka into the ground to a degree, even Odegaard, Magalhaes with his hamstring. Timber's been great this season, but he's had to play a lot more than we'd have liked. We all know the guys that of this 19-man squad pick up injuries, and you can say the training methods, which personally I believe you've got to play the way you can train. And again, I think the club have to take responsibility, but clearly nobody's going to put players out there, whether they to injure them, and they're obviously going to try their best to make sure man don't get injured. But at the same time, I remember when Mikel Arteta was speaking and he was saying, actually, we haven't been able to train that much because of the fixture calendar list, and that affects the muscles. So you're in a bit of a double whammy of resting players and then rest can also injure players, which for me, simply put, you need a bigger squad. You need a bigger squad. It's as simple as that. Because then the negative thing is the drop-off, essentially. And for Arteta maybe to learn, there's been times where the Gabriel Magalhaes, the Kai Havertz is like against Wolves. Saka, Gabriel Magalhaes when we're winning 7-1, can you take a man off for 5 minutes here, 20 minutes here, 15 minutes there, 20 minutes there? It might not seem like much, and this same thing could happen. But if you were to do like the little 10, 25, 2, whatever, when by then you will look at it at some point and say, technically, if you add up all the minutes a man's been subbed, it adds up to 90 minutes. That's a game being saved. We need to learn, man. And boy, yeah, I know Arteta is very proud of, we had all these injuries and we finished second. We're still second and many teams would have crumbled. That's true. And I like that. That shows it. But what does that mean? We've established ourselves as, clearly not the best team in the league because Liverpool are there and City have been it, but we're one of those. We're a class above a lot of other teams, so we should be there. What is stopping us from going from second to first? That's all I'm interested in. And again, there's something wider to be said about injuries for footballers. You saw Musiala go down. There's been 119 hamstring injuries in the Premier League alone. That's an average of 4 injuries each round of fixtures. The player unions need to get together, but the higher powers that be don't care. Even Thomas Frank come out and say it. You've all seen the extended club championship. The World Cup's getting more teams. The Euros is getting more teams. The Champs has more teams. Nations League's in this thing now. It's just madness. And then, the pointless international friendlies. Again, from a domestic point of view, in a team like our case, you want to compete in 4 trophies. They don't care about players, and that goes for all clubs, man. They're just gonna tell you have a bigger squad, and they don't care, bro. They don't care. Yeah, Berta was at Everton, which is great for us. Again, Arteta said it's going to be a big transfer window for us. We are very excited. I hope so, my brother. Guillaume Balaguer said 5 big signings, so the language has changed from the article we read. Who would you lot take? POV. You are a sporting director of your club. You have to sign one of these 7 strikers. Who would you choose? You have Isaac. You have Foxy's not allowed to answer. He's a Newcastle fan. He's going to say Isaac. Or for him, you can't say Isaac. You have to say the next one. You've got Isaac Osimhen, Liam Delap, Benjamin Sesko, Viktor Gyokeres, Hugo Ekitike, and Jonathan David. My first choice, which isn't going to happen, would be Isaac. And then I'm kind of torn. I'm in win now mode. Because I'm in win now mode, I'm going to say Gyokeres or Osimhen, because if you bring either one of those into not just our club anywhere, it's a right now thing. So I would say them two. I'm a big fan of Sesko. I think he's raw. I can see why people aren't convinced. In an ideal world, I'd love to have it Isaac and a Gyokeres, and Sesko is in the squad as your development striker. I'm having Sesko. Then it's a tie between Hugo Ekitike and Liam Delap. I like Liam Delap in a nice way. He's an ugly footballer. I think Hugo's a baller. All I know is Jonathan David would be last. I'm not going to lie. I'm not against Jonathan David on the free. But if Jonathan David was the only option, I'd rather just heavily invest in central midfield and left wing, if I'm honest with you. And it is what it is. I'll bring him in, but it is what it is. Gyokeres is open to a move to Arsenal. The Gunners are set to open talks with Sporting after identifying the Swede as a more attainable option than Isak. He's understood to be impressed with Arsenal's project. He's also been again linked with Atletico Madrid and is still linked with clubs in Saudi. We have heard that apparently his reps will be in North London next week, which is now Monday. We all know the speculation has been growing. We all know we've heard Berta spoke to him, and he's actually still being linked with Newcastle. Some say as someone to be a companion for Isak, some say as a replacement. Where Isak's going, I don't know, but I don't think he's going anywhere. Again, we have heard Nico Williams, his agent, has spoken with Berta, but likewise, we're hearing Atletico Bilbao want to give him a new contract and scare off the teams interested. Aston Villa, Arsenal, Barcelona, Chelsea, Man United, Bayern Munich, everybody's been linked with him. I mean, a release clause of 58 million, you want to double that essentially, and we'll have to see. But you couldn't even rule out him staying. And, in an ideal world, they win Europa League and it is what it is. Apparently, Sporting would take a huge economic risk by trying to keep Gyokeres this summer, according to a financial expert. So they're in a position they might have to sell. Is that why it's dropped, allegedly, from his asking price to where it is now? We all know the 26-year-old has no shortage of suitors, and interest has increased in him. They must sell him, apparently. Why must they sell him? Why must they sell him? It makes a difference in terms of longevity. Sorry, it's one thing to transfer Gyokeres in the summer when he turns 27 and another to transfer him the following summer when he turns 28. It makes a difference in terms of longevity. The market is increasingly competitive. And while it's true that Gyokeres is a player who is performing above average, he also is a player who has some physical problems. His increased age combined with these physical problems could cause some distrust in the club capable of putting so much money on the table. What are these physical problems? I genuinely want to know. I'm not saying they're not a thing, but what physical problems? I'm not saying there isn't none, but what? Because it sounds good, but what? What is it? Is it an underlying hamstring injury? Has he got a dodgy knee? What is it? Because it sounds good to say this, but like you're saying things and you're not backing it up. Gyokeres understands that the time to leave for a big European club is now, and Sporting understand that keeping him for another year would be fantastic in terms of sporting performance, but would jeopardize a huge financial gain. And it's ironic because whatever you think about Gyokeres, you had a player that was in England, didn't make too much noise, gone away, going to be sold. Probably he could go elsewhere because he's linked with foreign clubs, going to come back to these very shores for like quadruple the price. Hugo Ekitike rumors won't go away. Allegedly, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Manchester United have all held talks with his reps last week as the race to secure his signature heats up. Now, on one hand, it doesn't surprise me. Everybody's talking to everyone. They don't mean you're going to sign people, but it's easy to add these rumors, obviously, because we need optimism. Allegedly, Morgan Rogers is generating big admirers, according to David Ornstein, and data suggests that Arsenal could be his ideal next step. I mean, you can see my videos on YouTube. I wanted him when he was at West Brom. He's having a great season. He's capped by the country. According to David Ornstein, Rodgers' form is not going unnoticed outside of Birmingham. Responding to a question about Aston Villa's summer plans in a Q&A, the journalist made an eye-catching revelation. I mean, easily, if you ain't got 100 million or something, you're not going to get it, Rodgers, whether he's worth it or not. This is the theme now. Good player, team don't want to sell, probably under contract for a number of years. If he hasn't, they're probably in talks to give him a new thing. You got to pay madness. And it's crazy because what happened to Jacob Ramsey? He used to be the guy. And outgoing wouldn't come as a huge surprise. There are clubs looking at Jacob Ramsey while Morgan Rogers is generating some big admirers. That is not to say these guys are leaving, and certainly the club will not want to lose their best players. But it'll be another big summer as Villa look to kick on again. Ornstein did not specify which clubs in particular are keeping tabs on Rogers, but data via Sky Sports can give us a good idea as to where his future could lie. Napoli, Atletico Madrid, Arsenal. Okay. At Arsenal, his prospects of starting would be slim due to the presence of Odegaard. I mean, you and Rice in midfield with Odegaard, it could bang, though. It could bang. It could bang. And we have been linked with a 16-year-old Harvey Higgins of Blackburn. He looks quite good based on the highlights and that Blackburn, man. He's an England youth international. Apparently, it will take about 1.5 million. Bring him in. If he can develop, great. We've been linked with another Villa player. Apparently, we're keeping a close eye on camera people of Aston Villa as we weigh up midfield reinforcements. Do we really buy that? Because he's also apparently in contract talks, and his contract expires in 2027, and Villa are keen to lock him down on improved terms. So it's not really coincidental. You would have seen over the weekend, Arsenal could see as many as 11 players leave the club to help boost their spending power. Zinchenko, Kivio, Partey, Jorginho, Tierney, Tavares, Lokonga, Nelson, Vieira, Trossard, Tomiyasu, Sterling, and Neto. Now, some of them are going to leave by default. The one commonality they all have, everyone's individual circumstances are different, but the one common theme is their future. You know, their futures are not 100% decided on paper. Neto, Sterling, Jorginho, Tierney, and Partey, they're all gone. Zini's got a year left on his deal. He's on 150 grand a week. I'm sure Berta, if we have to be creative, that's where you're looking. So we'll have to see what's going on there. And this is saying exactly the same thing, people, about young Harvey Higgins. We'll have to see how that works. Allegedly, we've watched Kamara. I went over this yesterday, people, but for you lot, again, I will. I don't know. I'm not endorsing or condemning these ITKs. I really don't want to read this. Smash the like button and do it for you lot, because it seems a bit movious. Nico Williams, as you are all aware, he has been Arteta's obsession for many moons now. Within the decision chambers at Arsenal, this player is viewed as having superstar potential. Let me cut to the chase, though. As reported, Andrea Berta has also held discussions with Felix Tanter, his agent. It's my understanding Berta has received encouragement when discussing a variety of wage/bonus combinations. Talks are still at a very early stage, but Nico is very open to joining Arsenal more than ever before. The second, and contrary to public opinion, is the more difficult part. The release clause in the region of 50.6 million. If you think Brighton's Tony Bloom or Napoli's De Laurentiis are tough negotiators, then let me introduce you to their final boss version, Jean Irate, the president of Athletic Club, in which you should be difficult. When Barca attempted to offer installments last summer, Deco received an emphatic no. This is where, in my opinion, Berta will earn his money. Paying 50.6 million upfront in the modern era is an eye-watering amount if you ask any football finance expert. Clubs will also try to spread costs, but Arsenal have serious firepower this summer. Can Berta engineer a successful Basque hype? That is the 50.6 million question. I hope you're right, but a bit cringy in the delivery, but okay. Anyways, Kivior was described as a player with gold dust, people, by Darmeshev, and speculation over his future continues. Been linked with Bayer Leverkusen, been linked with several clubs in Italy and Spain: Villarreal, Sevilla, Juventus, AC, and Inter Milan, Fiorentina, Bologna, Atalanta, and Napoli. We're still being linked with Moise Kean, by the way. Arsenal are tracking 17-year-old Salford City striker Will Wright. The Englishman is among a number of young players the Gunners Academy recruitment staff are eyeing ahead of the summer. Always what stars are tomorrow. If you can bring something, fair play. Salford, ain't that Fergus? I'm sorry, isn't that Gary Neville's team? He'll probably get him over to Man United. And we're still being linked with Bilal El Khanous, who I got a lot of time for of Leicester. We reportedly got an interest in him. I don't buy it because it's coming out of Spain. But if we're prepared to offer 30 million and the 20-year-old brings us versatility, he can play as a 10 and an 8 and actually play out wide, I'm all for it. He could be everything Fabio Vieira isn't. He's got a deal until 2028. So we'll have to see how much of the links are because Leicester are going down. Speaking of relegation, Arsenal have missed out on a cashed windfall of 1 million after Southampton were relegated from the Premier League. Southampton would have had to pay Arsenal 1 million if they avoided relegation, but their fate was confirmed on Sunday. Arsenal banked an upfront fee of 18 million by selling Ramsdale, who has become Southampton's number one, and he's back in the England's fold. Fair play, man. And obviously, we're still linked with Garcia, who we're expected to go for, and he's been linked with a bunch of clubs, people. And now you're seeing as low as 21 million. So we're going to have to see what's going on there. What's this? This is, I mean, it's a bit boring consistently speaking about Gyokeres at this point. We've definitely gone over that. What's this? Arsenal interested in signing 150 million forward who Declan knows well. Who? Rafael. According to TBR football chief correspondent Graham Bailey, he's provided an update on Arsenal's pursuit of a new left winger this summer, including their links to Leao. Arsenal want a right foot for the left side of their attack to parallel the excellent cover they have on the other side of the front three with Saka and Nwaneri. Apparently, Arsenal's scouting team were already hard at work before Andrea Berta's arrival. He has not overturned it apartment or thinking, but has just added depth and knowledge. He believes the club need a new player on the left, and we know he has already held talks over Nico Williams, but they're doing their work on other options. Rafael is someone who is on the radar of a number of clubs, including rivals Chelsea. The feeling in football circles is that he could leave, like with Williams and Luis Diaz. His dream move is Barcelona, but that is true of many players. Leao is an interesting player and one who Arsenal are aware of and have done a lot of work on. Okay, I don't know what Declan Rice has to do with that. Arsenal and Liverpool are set to be among the main clubs trying to sign Crystal Palace's Eze this summer, people. So there's a lot to consider, man. What else is new here? Click on that. Oh, that Ryan guy's decent. If that's the young player, we'll go to create our own story. We've gone over that. Big up you lot, because it feels like we've gone over a lot of things in a short space of time. Arsenal have joined Spurs and other rivals in the race to sign Vasco da Gama's forward Ryan. He's played for Brazil at youth level, but they must move quickly to match his tempting release clause amid comparisons with legendary Brazilian forward Adriano. The 18-year-old has been scouted by Spurs, Liverpool, Brighton, Bayern Munich, and Fiorentina this season, and sources have confirmed that Arsenal have now joined the race. Arsenal are said to be seriously considering a move for Ryan. This comes after top Arsenal scout Pablo Javier, who left Real Madrid to join them in 2014, has identified Ryan as a target. Javier has been working hard to find the best players in Brazil, and Ryan has been placed on Arsenal's shortlist thanks to his recommendation. The teenager has a release clause in his contract that could see him leave for less than 15 million. The clause has caught Arsenal's attention, and they could move quickly to trigger it and beat Spurs to his signature. However, with at least 5 top clubs in the race, Arsenal also have to convince Ryan that a move to the Emirates is best for his development. He's expected to leave Brazil in the coming months and won't be short of opportunities. Fiorentina have been working particularly hard on a deal, but they have been snubbed by the forward so far, a sign that he knows bigger clubs are sniffing. Sources state that there's a serious possibility that Premier League sides will move quickly to sign him. How much do you not want to bet Chelsea buy him for no reason, people? One source stated that clubs, including Arsenal, are well aware of his talent and do not want to risk having to pay out huge sums in the future to land him. He broke into the first team back in 2023 and has gradually established himself as a first team regular. The youngster, who can play as a winger on either flank or as a striker, has scored 5 goals in 48 senior appearances, people. He's been described here as a complete forward, very much in the mode of Adriano, powerful and determined, killer instinct, great technique on the ball, cleverness on his off-the-ball movement. I think that's one we can make a video when I do the little tactical ones and edited ones, people. Let me know if that's a good shout. Smash the like button as well. So, yeah, that's that part, man. Now we can get back to the comments. Ryan as a backup and Sesko as a main man. Can't see it go wrong. Every forward I've seen us let go has been replaced with exactly no one. Igor Pasio is having a good season at Feyenoord and improved since he joined them. He could be an option if we can't get Nico Williams. Let me be frank, DG. This Ryan guy is not handsome enough for match-going fans. They'll be on his back every game if he's not scoring. Fan cans be saying he played average and that. Why for that? Adeyemi's quality, but he'll make us pull our hair out. Here we go. Ryan is an absolute baller. I believe his contract is expiring soon. There you have it. Leao is the Portuguese version of St. Maximin. That's why I'm not on the party tricks. I want you to have party tricks, but there's no point doing a million step overs if you ain't set up a teammate or bagged. Leao is better than Nico. I don't believe the Leao thing for obvious reasons. It's going to take bare P's. Going to have to give him contract. It seems like it's a techie period at AC Milan. You got a new manager. Let's talk about new staff. Patrizzi, I believe, is coming. It's easy to link Leao with a move to the Premier League. I think he's a good player, but I think he's a bit overrated. And what I mean by that is you're a good player, but I think people that don't watch you on a regular basis gas you up a bit more. You're very good. And there's a player in you, and I would not cry. And I think if you can really get through to him that you need to be, you know, when he has them standout games, you need to do that every week. There's a player there, but I don't buy it, man. I don't buy it. Adeyemi, Gyokeres, Igatike, Diaz from Madrid, Zuba, happy days. Leao is better than Nico. Trossard has regressed as he's been forced to be a starter, but we tend to not replace forwards when we let them go. Why not? Wild idea. Why not sign Williams in the January rather than Trossard? Ramsdale about to move clubs again this summer. He'll have about 15 clubs by the time he retires. It's sad because he could probably get a fourth relegation. Leao and Declan trained together in preseason a few years ago. Bring him today. Gyokeres and Williams for me. Ryan, more of a right-sided player that will eventually move into a centre role. I hear it, man. I hear it. I'm not against him. I'm sure you played for Brazil at a recent youth tournament, either in the last year or so. You need to start having a waffler tier list for these ITKs. Ben Jacobs at the top. I allow him, man. Obsession is not healthy and the club is missing out on other players. We need to be flexible and there should be other targets. Chasing the same player for years doesn't make sense at all. Gospel. I agree Williams could be a superstar, but he's not going to be the biggest superstar in a truly elite team. Trossard, I'm on the fence. He's not a world beater, but I have no face to replace him adequately. I've decided for us to sign a striker and a left winger. I would go for Gyokeres and a Williams. 11 players sold. We're not going to see 11 go. Rob, big up yourself. Who's too old? We could have signed Karaskila instead of Nico Williams drama. One thing I hope Berta addresses is this obsession with certain targets like Nico, and is that if you can't get them, move on. Sign Gyokeres, number 1 target, and Jonathan David on the free for squad depth makes sense. Marino signed as experienced, and super fans were telling me he needs to adapt. What am I a beep? Sign some wonder kid and give them time to adapt. Indeed. Age problem. Well, I don't know for the age problem. Well, like, you know, I'm just reading it. I don't know. I just want to know about the physical problems. Because there could be something. I don't know. I think I have a good idea of what Gyokeres is, yeah. But if there might be something, but it's easy to say a man's got physical problems. But what are the physical problems? Is there an underlying hamstring injury that he's been playing with? Is there something with his ankle? I don't know. Like, you're just saying physical problems. Every player's probably got physical problems. These men are running themselves into the ground week in, week out. If it's not Gyokeres and Isak, I'd take the lap. At least he's prem proven and suits us, in my opinion. Set to open talks. Agree Arsenal move. Same thing. I'm getting tired. I think we all are. Isak 1, Gyokeres 2, 3, Osimhen 4, Thuram. Gyokeres and Isak, we need them both. Dreaming though. I like Osimhen too, but it looks like Gyokeres, if not Osimhen. Osimhen is my number 1. I don't even know the number of players we need to sign right now. Chelsea have 100 players and they still complain about injuries. Osimhen, we all want Isak, but it won't happen because they want too much for him. Gyokeres and Osimhen is out of our hands. Gyokeres after Isak. Big up yourself, be excited. Unfortunately, we have a history of players picking other clubs when we go for a player this caliber. The only player we bought under this manager that was wanted by big clubs was only Rice. In my opinion, playing 70 and playing 90 doesn't really change for a defender unless they are given a full rest. The recovery time is relatively the same. Otherwise, give me Benjamin Sesko for 60 million, worth the money. He can make an instant impact, and at the same time, he's nowhere near his prime. If you look at the Champions League and the Prem winning Chelsea squad, they had quality on the bench too. We must believe in order to beat Madrid because they're beatable. Arteta's telling us how he's mismanaged players, but Cole will be all right. Big up Magalhaes. Our bench this season has been rubbish. We need better options in the full 24-man squad next season. 27-year-old who has bagged 20 goals for the last 4 seasons. We need someone to bag, and we have just the guy to do it. Physical problems. Are they saying Gyokeres is the Swedish Obafemi Martins? He's really not 26. It could be that. It could be that. Man don't want Sesko because he's young. Man don't want Gyokeres because he's old. Madness. Sir Jerky is a baller. Watching plays very techie and is a fox in the box. He's exactly what we need in the 10. Odegaard needs competition. I don't know what it is about the age. I'm happy. I never said it. Big up Hyper for coming a member. I don't know what it is. Welcome indeed. Send Sancho back. I'm not a fan of Odegaard. Real Madrid reject. A bit harsh, man. Not captain material. He's a coward. I wouldn't say he's a coward. Be nice. I hope Berta sells him. Berta's not selling him. You know we're not getting Valverde and Verts. But I do agree he needs to buck up his ideas, man. The club is lost if we sell a player like Gabriel. But hey, man, if I agree, new deals. Man, like Magalhaes is going nowhere. Diamande, if Gabriel is going, but then there's no real leadership in the backline unless Saliba wants to be that player. I'm not convinced on Thuram of Inter. I like him, but it's not my cup of tea, man. The Arsenal PR machine is in full effect, full of interested in-held talks and agreed terms. Player/manager need to turn up, and there ain't a better game than the Champions League against Madrid just to do that. Facts. I want us to sign Gyokeres and one more experienced striker for the cheap who would hold bench and play whenever we ask, so we don't have to put Marino up front. I know, man, but I think there's no way we expect us to sign 2 strikers, a winger, and all the other stuff, man. We know we won't. I hope I'm wrong. I would love 2 strikers, but Mateta is quality, not silky on the eye, but if you rate Chris Wood, you should rate Mateta too. Because you read my comment, I like and subscribe straight away from Rwanda. Andrew, big up the Rwandan ones, man. Appreciate you. Welcome aboard. Watkins and Jota is what Arsenal get. I don't think we're going to get Jota, and I think the Watkins thing is gone, but I wouldn't be against Watkins. And he's got to be on the list of some degree because you tried to get it. Well, you was offered him, but you tried to get him in January. My worries, we let Trossard, Partey, Jorginho go and replace them with one guy. It's on brand for us. Finding the balance between Gyokeres and Sesko, ending up with Mateta. DG, be careful of your moderators. I got banned from replying for 24 hours as of yesterday. It's a shame. I like you from the early days when during your lunch break you'd be posting a vid, but I'm out of it. All right, you lot, leave Harvey alone, man. Mods, be nice, man. I don't want to have people to lose their mods. I don't want to, man. Come on, we got a good family over here. With Odegaard as captain, we ain't doing nada. Gyokeres 68 goals and only 1 header. He's so one-dimensional. Good to have, but we'll need a backup who's all-rounded. I hear it. I'd like 2 strikers, but I don't expect us to sign Gyokeres, development guy, and Sesko, Nico Williams, or a left winger on top of having Kai and Trossard at some point. We should get Scholarbeck. Now Partey, Jorginho are leaving. I think Arsenal should try for Frankie de Jong. I was worried about his ankle injury, struggling for months with, but lately Frankie seems back to his best. Don't forget, people, at 4 p.m. I'm here with the guys Monday Madness settings, people. We're gonna have D and Catch, and we're gonna speak everything. If we can't get these gunmen that we want, let's just spend heavily in midfield and overload with creative players. I'm on that. Yeah, Ryan played and scored a few in the under-20s South American Championships early this year. I knew I weren't making that up. We must sell Trossard in the summer. Saudi will surely come banging on the door and buy him for 40. I hear it, man. I'm just saying, DG, I know these, man. Marino gets so much rope because they think he's handsome. Arteta get rope for the same reason. Ghost to God, all of them know why for that. I know these fans now. He did. Surprised you didn't say, what's my man's name? How can I forget him? I like him. Calafiori. Pretty privileged. Big up, Badger. Frankie. I like Frankie de Jong, but is he soft? And what I mean by that is you're a baller. You're very much an Arsenal player. And you're playing for Barca in your country. I think you're a Spartan. But when the chips are down and you're on this thing, it's not really ability for me with Frankie de Jong. If it's just on ability, you're an Arsenal midfielder. You're what an Arsenal, Ajax, and Barcelona midfielder should be. And you even spoke about one day I wanted to go from Ajax to Arsenal to Barcelona. But when the chips are down, are you the guy that's I'm going to make it happen? I don't know if you've got that. I'm not like, boy, Frankie de Jong would be lit, but I can't see us that. It's a big ticket item. Ollie Watkins should be bought. If we can't, big up Rashid 10, 20 times, man, and then some. Big him up, man. Good show on Saturday. Was it Saturday? Yeah, it was Saturday. Post Everton and all the others. Ollie Watkins should have been bought. I hear it. We've got an interest in him, but we was offered it to us. Regardless of what was going on, Aston Villa were trying to probably palm him off and keep Duran. He was offered to us. If we can't sign Zubimendi, they're a bit similar, but I rate Frankie higher. He's going to cost even more, though, man. Odegaard is a shook guy. Definitely needs to pull his pants up, bro, and pull his finger out and do this thing. Odegaard, I need you sharp, man. The hate is too much. Do you get it? I like Odegaard. Like, I don't think you're a Spartan. I think you're a bit soft. I do think, we should have another option with what you're going through now. I'm not using this as an excuse, but I almost, just for me, and I don't have any things, I think one day he's going to come out and say, yo, I've been playing with an ankle injury for the last X amount. But at the same time, if you're fit and you're playing, we're not flies on the wall. I'm sure if we were flies on the wall at the Emirates and we truly got to see what Arteta and Edu, like we saw everything that Edu did, Arteta did, Berta's going to do, these players, we might have different opinions. So we have a bit of ignorance in that regards. We're just armchair experts. You lot are training during the week. Show me on match day what man them are on. That's what we need to do. And again, I do think Odegaard's carrying it up. But at the end of the day, you've been fit. You're playing. Your form is quite woeful. And against Fulham, you had a couple chances. Saturday, you had a couple chances. You're just not doing the business. You're not. And I don't think this is going to persist. But at the end of the day, he's on big money. And within the next year, or from now to the next few years, there's a lot of players on big wages. And if you're not doing the business, I love Martinelli. But if the same things persist, 180. Zinchenko's on 150. Odegaard's on whatever. Obviously, he's the captain. He's this, that, and the other. I like Odegaard a lot. I don't think getting rid of the captaincy thing is going to do anything for him, especially this year, because, yeah, you can say, oh, yeah, what do they call it? Like the weights off your shoulders kind of thing. You can say that. But if we think he's soft anyways, and this ain't my thoughts necessarily, I'm being devil's advocate. If we think Odegaard's soft anyways, aren't you going to do the woe is meeting if you take the captaincy off and you're going to go further into a shell? And I'd also caveat that with also saying, bro, you're playing for Arsenal Football Club. Beer criticism anyways. Man, are on to Lewis Skelly now. Everybody loves Saka. Let's not act like we haven't gone through stages where people saying, oh, Saka didn't do it for the running. Martinelli the same. The gaffer the same. It comes with the expert. It comes with the territory. Odegaard as captain with those performances sets a very bad example for youngsters, which is true. But, bro, it's football. You're going to play good. You're going to play bad. In the same way, a few years ago when Odegaard was banging goals in, when you're playing well and everything's going well, it keeps going. And like in life, when like in our personal lives, when things are going bad, things get worse. So you never know, man. You could argue he's setting a good example because he's not feeling sorry for himself. He's still showing up. And what I would say for Odegaard, I can have my opinions. I think you need competition. I think you're not as dispensable as Saliba and all them things. The thing that pisses me off the most with Odegaard, whether I think you're a pretty boy or not, is pussying out of 50-50 challenges. I need to see a lot more from him. Like, personality, run the show. You wouldn't be my captain. It would be Gabriel Magalhaes or a Declan Rice and whatnot. But at the end of the day, you've been giving it to him, innit? And you could argue, in terms of the poster boy and the youngsters and the stars of tomorrow and all that crap, he's there. And what I would say with Odegaard, I don't see it, but you must hold weight in that change room. You must be the guy that rallies the troops because you're given the captaincy. In a day and age where player power is almost as important, you're giving it to him. So I don't know, man. I got time for Odegaard. I think he's one of the best footballers on his day, but the problem is you're not on your day, and I do think you're a fair weather footballer. So when you're not able to do fair weather shit, There was a certain number 7 for our football club, Invincibles. He scored goals and did things, but he was a fair weather player. The man used to say it himself. Odegaard is clearly not in the same realm as that individual, but those of you that are old enough to remember and older than me, you'll know who I'm referring to. We won't say a bad word about my Invincible, even though he said Jeremy Doku was better than Saka. Too much wine over there, my guy. Big up yourself, Stephen. People were hating on Odegaard even when he was playing. It's football, innit? You play, nobody cares about what you did in the past. But the football's a fickle game. If you run the show against Real Madrid or something, they love you again. But he's also been playing shit. Playing bad form is not something I would call a bad example for young players. DG, would you swap Odegaard for Verts if you had the chance to? Yeah, I can't lie. Verts a bad boy. I like Odegaard. Verts a bad boy. A lot of hate of my fellow Norwegian Odegaard. We got to stop it. Just think of how good he would be with Saka fit and playing Ben White. Obviously, there is an element of that. He's lost a couple players, relationships, all that stuff. And in the last 2 games, I've seen Saka play with Odegaard and he's been a bit better. But at the same time, I think it's gone past that, bro. I think Odegaard needs to arrest his own form for you. A bit like what I've said with Martinelli. These things play a part, but I've gone past the point of you need this, you need that. This is happening, that's happening. You need to pattern up for you. Rashida said, big up, Big TG, the best devil's advocate in YouTube. I'm going to ask the questions, man. Hey, make sure you're following, man. I see Aaron Talks Arsenal. Make sure you're following his YouTube channel as well, man. The drop-off is mad, but then for me, it's jarring because Odegaard, bro, you need to get goals. We need man to get goals from midfield. I don't look at Odegaard. Like, Odegaard shouldn't be that. You should be a guy that kind of runs the show for us. And I just need you to watch Santi Cazorla vids and Santi vids. And I want us to be in a realm where, a bit like what we used to do with Perez and all them things, if it's a day for the trenches and you're not a trench baby, you have to come out, put someone else in. And we don't have alternatives. I know we're not going to have a world where we've got 2 great 10s, 2 amazing strikers, 2 great left wingers, and so on and so forth. But there has to be someone. And I think right now, Wanyeri just needs to learn what he needs to learn. But slowly but surely, we need him to learn to play that Odegaard role. It'd be interesting to see, man, you know, because there's rumors of Napan. Ethan's going to fill in a number of roles. He can obviously play there. We don't know. I know you lot don't want to hear it, but we don't know what the future lies for Fabio Vieira. We know Odegaard is going to have another stinker tomorrow, like he always does in big games. I hope he can prove us wrong, man. Stripping the captaincy is not going to get a reaction. Not every player is like Xhaka. The difference between Odegaard and Bruno is actually one chance to make things happen, even when it doesn't come off. Odegaard as captain with those performances. Oh, sorry, seen that already. I'm very worried we are not getting linked with midfielders enough. If we buy forwards, we will suffer from a lack of creativity. I can't lie to you. The links are one thing and it gets us talking, but I will only really, I always say I reserve my opinions until the end of the window. Like, then I'm very critical. Whether we're linked or not, you don't know what you need to do. Like Berta, Arteta, the Tim Lewises, all of you brothers around the club, you know what you need to do. Make sure you do it. Because if I'm a bit harsher on you than I've ever been, I need you to deliver in the summer. I'm being very illogical with this statement, but I need you to get these signings in early because I'm starting to glance to next season. Kai Havertz is going to be here for the start of the season, but he's coming off the back of a hamstring knock. There's, you know, Saka is still in recovery mode. Like, he's still going to be playing catch up going into next season. Jesus and Tommy are going to be back at some point or not. And there's probably a couple of other players I'm missing out. I want to hit the ground running next season. Oh, no, though, man. So, yeah, man, it's interesting. Drop Odegaard next to Rice in a 4-2-3-1 and go out and sign a 10. There's so many things I'd like to see. I'd like to see Lewis Skelly and Rice and Odegaard. I'd love to see Odegaard put in the 10, in the 8, and then do something else. You know, I'd love to see a world where you got Rice regulating in the 6. You've got Wanyeri and Lewis Skelly together in midfield. I don't think we're seeing any of these things in what's left of the season, though, man. I need Odegaard to show a bit more courage, though. Odegaard becomes a problem when we play bad because he's the front man and the captain. No, he just has to, he has to hold that. In the same way, I'd be waxing lyrical about Martin Wondergaard, that's the class Weasian as I refer. Ultimately, you can't have the rough with the smooth. I only ask of players what I think they've got in them, you know. Odegaard's got the potential to do better. I can speculate as to why this ain't happening or that, but we need you now. And this is a big game for you. I'm not saying things will change, but if you do well against Madrid and you do well against Madrid, especially away from home, and football's weird. How many times have you seen a striker score 1 goal and they just start scoring 10 and 20 and it's coming off their ear and they're scoring bangers? And likewise, when they're in a bad run of form, they're missing tap-ins, they're thinking too much, and they're missing penalties, and it just goes on and on and on. It's like life, innit? Sometimes it happens. Well, I would say to Odegaard, there's no test. There's no testimony without a test. If you pray for rain, you got to go through the mud, man. You not just stand up to be counted tomorrow, man. Because Odegaard, you look like you need your hand held. Subscribe to Aaron Talks Arsenal. Come on, big up my mods, man. Big up Aaron. Big up Highbury's local badger. I see you in all our chats, man. We have given a lot of pass to Odegaard. Imagine if an unliked player would be killed for less. He would. But to be fair, I think people are onto Odegaard. I think they're onto him. But he does need to fix up. I don't know about other people and all of that stuff. But here, we have a balanced conversation. He needs to fix up. You need to fix up. You need to. I've got a lot of time for him, but I love my football club more. There's so much players that need to get it together. We're all in this together, but who's really stood up to be counted this month for the large part? Raya, Gabriel Magalhaes. Saliba's had a drop-off, but still throw Saliba in there. Timber, player of the season shouts. Magalhaes, player of the season shouts. Lewis Skelly, Wanyeri, Saka in what you've been available to play in. Declan Rice. Who else? Unpopular opinion. I'll be real. I think Kai Havertz. Yes, I don't think he should be playing up front. But I think him to a slight degree when you get beyond the other players. Trossard, you've been hot and cold. Martinelli, you've been hot and cold. Odegaard, you've been hot and cold. To be fair, big up Partey, you've done your thing. Who else is there? Calafiori, you've been hot and cold. Fair season, fair play. Ben White, we allow you. You've done what you could in the 17 games now. You've had an injury. Sterling, you've been rubbish. Assist yesterday, though. Well, Saturday. Zinni, you're near your side, man. Tierney, you've done what you can in the minutes you've been given, and I would love for you to stay because I think we need a left back. I wish Arteta could just keep him part of the squad. That's one less thing, but it is what it is. Put a fucking good cross in against Everton and nothing happened. Marino, you've done what you can to a degree. Probably shouldn't have got you, but you're doing what you can at the moment. But you've also had times where you've been anonymous. Everyone else has been kind of thing. And again, we're in this together. We're only as strong as our weakest person. Not too many players. And even the ones that have played amazing, there's still games where you could have done better. All need to do a bit better. Wanyeri, if I haven't thrown him in as well, Spartan. But of the 19-man squad, the majority of what I just said is defenders, and then you got kids and that. Yeah, I can't lie. Big up Highbury. Been hearing your name for time. Big up Highbury, man. Rangers is a must weed. I think you need. I think you're projecting about what you're going to go and build up, man. But you know, if not necessarily Rangers, you see his skill set, how he plays in midfield. We need an 8 like that, man. An 8 like that or a midfielder like that next to Rice. It goes some part into making a difference, man. In these circumstances, he played out of position and score makes him our player of the season. That's crazy. Who? Who's play? Well, Marino, player of the season. Big him up. He's doing his thing, and it's nice to see he's looking a bit confident now. But player of the season. Gabriel Magalhaes. Yeah, bro, Marino is not no player of the season. I'm not even buying him. You're definitely not. You can't be Arsenal's player of the season. David Raya's got a stronger case. David Raya, Timber, Gabriel Magalhaes, young Lewis Skelly. For me, Saka, either way with the injuries. There's big up Marino. I'm not even trying to rub him out. You could never you could never be Arsenal's player this season. He's stepped up. He's doing his thing. He's doing what he can. And I get the major thing is confidence. Like you see, he looks more confident. He looks assured of himself. People don't always do these psychological things. So big him up. But Arsenal player of the season, Mikel Marino. Really. For the agendas, I'm here for it because signing of the season when we can have our proper debates with us Arsenal fans about what we really see. But to the rivals, yeah, Marino, we signed him. He's amazing, but player of the season. Fair enough. Disaster for Fabio yesterday. Big loss at home versus Benfica. Boy. Can't lie, Marino's a striker where he has never played looks better than Havertz. That makes Havertz side look even worse. He scored a couple finishes that Havertz would never pay off. And big up Havertz as well. But then you've got two players that were bought to play in midfield, different circumstances, or the same kind of underlying factor. They've both gone up front. And again, if being clinical, and you know, Havertz has pulled his weight somewhat in terms of goals. Marino's in a good patch of form. But if being clinical was what we needed from a forward, which we need that now, but generally, if that was the thing, you don't see different circumstances, but you do not see Marino, Kai Havertz, Eddie Nketiah, Gabriel Jesus. It's all the other factors. And even that, some people were sitting there and saying, don't sign a striker because we got Kai Havertz. If Marino is doing the Kai Havertz stuff, then that probably raises in question more. If Marino's also finding a way to score, how far does all these comments about Gyokeres and we need to improve and all of this kind of stuff? DJ, would you sell Havertz this summer if you had the chance to? It depends what we get. We clearly need a striker, bro. Hopefully we say Marino is player of the season after tomorrow. That's all I say. Amen. Nah, don't say sorry. It's just a bit of a joke, man. Don't say sorry, man. But yeah, people, I'm just bearing in mind I'm going to be live at 4. I want to give you a lot of chance to cool off. Again, it should be pinned to the chat. I'm going to be live at 4 p.m. I'm going to have Catch. I'm going to have D. We're going to talk about pause. We're going to talk about Arsenal. We're going to talk about the Madrid game. We're going to talk about Gyokeres. We're going to talk about a couple of underlying factors. As usual, my members, my mods, my supporters, my long-term viewers. And if you're new here, I appreciate you lot's talking points, difference of opinions, sharing your opinions. Leave a comment after the live stream's done. And I'll see you lot all in a bit, man.